Welcome back to Suns Valley Podcast, everybody. The Phoenix Suns are still desperately chasing after Kevin Durant. It is completely KD or bust. We've hit a little bit of a snag in the road, and we're going to talk about that. The Indiana Pacers seem to be really heating up as far as their interest level of signing DA, and we're going to talk about what that means for the Phoenix Suns. But before we get into that, hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Keep them notifications on because we're going to be continuing to bring you Phoenix Suns content the rest of the offseason. Like I said, if the Phoenix Suns fall short of getting Kevin Durant, we're very screwed. Mildly to very screwed. I just personally do not see a way in which bringing back the same group that we had last season, especially considering the chemistry is completely ruined now. It feels like you've got Jay Crowder on the trading block. You've got DA. Clearly the Suns are not in love with DA anymore. He's not in love with the Suns. He and Monty have serious issues. It seems like he and Chris Paul don't get along that well. And I've always been the conspiracy theorist that says that I don't think that Devin Booker always loved DA, or at least he didn't play with him as a teammate like he loved DA. I could be wrong on that. That's fair. But if we go into this upcoming season with the same squad, I don't see anything better for us than a late playoff exit. Maybe I'm being cynical because we got the brakes beaten off of us by Luka, but I just feel that we have to make very positive changes to be where we want to be, which is because we've sold our soul, aka $40 million for a 40-year-old man almost, CP3. We've got to be desperate here because we are desperate. That is not to say that I don't absolutely love Deandre Ayton, and it is going to break my heart if and when we lose him. One way we're likely to lose him, if we luck out, is being able to sign and trade him. So here's what the Suns have been trying to do. They've been trying to find another piece to give Brooklyn that will sweeten the deal in the way that they want it. They want everything, and offering them so far Mikhail, Cam, if that is what's being offered, and a boatload of picks is not enough. They want something like Donovan Mitchell, which isn't going to work out, right? That boat seems like it's also sailed. So here we are left trying to figure something out other than Donovan Mitchell, and we really need DA. I'm hoping we don't, but it seems like we really need DA to sweeten the pot, to help us get a bigger, better name to throw into this trade, because they don't want to pay. Brooklyn does not want to pay DA a $30 million max. That's not what they're looking for. Maybe they do value him as a player the way they should, and that's not the reason. It could be that the reason they don't want DA is because once they grab DA, if they were to accept him in a trade, they become really hard capped and unable to do anything else to continue to make their team better. And that's what they're focusing on. They don't want to go through just a rebuild. They're hoping that they can get stuff now and stuff to help them rebuild. Players now that can help them win. And that's where I say they're asking for everything. I imagine James Jones and cheap-ass Sarver have been crossing their fingers and their toes, hoping and praying that it didn't come to this, that no one would want DA. Now, it really seemed like his market had completely dried up, but if you're reading the tea leaves, if you're watching ESPN or any of the other major channels, they're talking a lot right now about basically, here's what's going on with the Pacers. They had to wait until the Brogdon trade went through. Malcolm Brogdon had to pass a physical. That happened, I believe, today. So once that was over, Indiana is now able to use the money that they have, and apparently they're the only team that has enough to offer DA what he's looking for. Now, personally, I think that those two things are simply lining up. I haven't heard any seriousness out of Indiana. I haven't heard anything other than what seems kind of like clickbait titles, right? Like, Indiana has enough money and it could happen. Like, but no one's saying that anyone from Indiana is saying they're going to. All they're telling us is they have the money and now it could happen because Brogdon is done with his trade, but none of them are really saying that they're going to go after him. So here's what needs to happen, because I don't think that Miles Turner, a straight up trade for Miles Turner, is a win. It's not the worst situation you could end up with because Miles Turner isn't a bum. And there is the opportunity that maybe Brooklyn likes Miles Turner and they're willing to accept Miles Turner, Cam, McHale, and 4 picks. Maybe that's better to them than Dario Saric, Cam, and 4 picks, and McHale, or instead of Dario, interject Crowder. I could see them liking Miles Turner better in return. But here's the scary part about why we really could end up with nothing but Miles Turner in this scenario. The Pacers, I'm sure, are smart enough to realize that they have a card they can play here. They can talk to us and say, hey, look, we really want DA. We know that if we offer him a sheet, you'll go ahead and match him. So work with us. Is there anything we can do? Can we give you Duarte? Which I'm like, hell yeah, right? Duarte and Turner, that's nice. Maybe they want to work with us to really ensure that they get DA. But let's say the Suns are like, well, you know, dilly-dallying, trying to get more out of them than they want to give. Then the Pacers can just say, okay, well, we tried. Seems like you're not budging, so we're going to go ahead and offer him a full max, and we'll see if he signs it. And if you guys really want to match it, go ahead and match it. No hard feelings, we'll understand. And what that will make the Phoenix Suns think is, shit, we were hoping they would buy that and not go through with it, but now we really are screwed. Because if the Phoenix Suns have to match, then it's over. The whole moving Deandre Ayton situation is over. We won't be able to move him until December 25th or January 25th, somewhere around that time. And that's not how you want to start the season. We don't want to have a bad start to the season because DA and them don't get along and it's all effed up and nobody likes each other and nobody's playing for each other, so nobody's, you know, chasing after loose balls and closing out on threes the way that they're supposed to. We want to start the season with Kevin Durant. We don't want to have to wait. Now, thus far, everything has fallen our way, and I'm really believing that it's going to happen. I have trust in what Flex has been saying. Honestly, I know that not everybody does, but I can see where he's coming from in saying that Kevin Durant likely would not have made this call to get traded if he didn't know that he had the ultimate say in where to go. Now, why does he have that? Because it's a players league and they have crazy power over their situations. Is that the right way? Is that not a snake way of doing it? Yeah, so what? I'm gonna sleep just fine at night, but I understand why people are upset with that. It's not ideal that these players can come and go, but since we live in a world where they can, I'm fine finally reaping some of the rewards for that. Speaking of the Slim Reaper. But another thing that the Suns are going to have to hope happens, if someone steps up and puts together a better offer for Durant, we have to hope. And we also probably need Durant to say this just so that Brooklyn doesn't try to bring him back. We're going to need Durant to make another vocal declaration and say, I don't want to go back to Brooklyn officially. I ain't looking for that. I don't want to go to Toronto. No offense to the wonderful people in Toronto. I don't want to go to the Grizzlies. I don't want to go to the Warriors. I don't want to go to the Boston Celtics. I only want Phoenix. He might have to further damage his trade value for us for the sake of getting where he wants to go, because one of these teams could probably and will probably make a play for him, and it does not seem like the Suns are going to have enough assets, especially if the Pacers sign DA. So once again, if they sign DA, the prospect of using DA to get assets worthy of Kevin Durant and Sean Mark's eyes goes out the window. So that's what we have to hope for. We have to hope for, and I want to prep people just in case we end up with Miles Turner and no DA, but we get something for them. That's honestly better than getting something for nothing. And if they offer him a max and we end up matching it, I mean, how are you going to get the package together to get Kevin Durant? So that's the situation we're in right now. I'm still very hopeful that KD can still do enough to guide his way to Phoenix, because it really does seem like that's the one place he wants to be. So I'm going to have to hope for that. We all are. And we're also going to have to hope that James Jones is as great as we all think he is. And that's up for debate. As of now, I say he is great, but this is his prove it moment. This is the most pivotal moment in Phoenix Suns offseason, probably history ever. We've never been this close. And to fall short of getting Kevin Durant, the look on Kyrie's face says it all. Hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. Go Suns.